Spirit Journal, December 2nd, 2025. It's about 1:30 in the morning. And I just did a bunch of dance videos, mostly sitting, a few standing. But all the videos I did tonight, I did with the selfie cam intentionally. So I didn't really realize what I was doing was mirror work when Spirit first guided me to start making my dance videos on TikTok. In fact, I was just using the selfie cam because it allowed me to see that I was on camera and stuff like that. But like everything happens for a reason. And I have found in my life, especially since my spiritual awakening, but even like looking back and thinking through things in the past, that the decisions that I've made and my natural instincts always serve another purpose. So I used to make all of my videos with the selfie cam. There's a different quality to it. Now, the selfie cam, the video quality is not as good, which is part of why I started using the rear-facing camera. Disadvantage, I can't see what I'm doing, but the video quality is much better. The lighting is much better. Also, after using the selfie cam for a long time, I found that I felt like I was paying too much attention to it and I needed to do something else. However, working with the selfie cam in the beginning was a form of mirror work, and I'm just going to read like a quick little definition if you look it up on Google. Mirror work is a self-help practice that involves looking at yourself in a mirror to build self-love and confidence, often by repeating positive affirmations and statements of self-reflection. This technique can help challenge negative self-talk and foster a strong or positive relationship with oneself, and also like self-image and things like that. So that self-love and that self-confidence was really important for me, especially in the beginning, because I was not used to being in front of a video camera. In fact, the progress I've made in the last 3 years, I can hear in my voice how much more comfortable I am talking on video, just being on video. Like it doesn't, I don't really feel nervous about it very often anymore, unless I lose my place and I'm just all kinds of batty, which I just accept that that's how I am. And I'm just like, you know what, like, we're just gonna go with it. You know, like part of self-love is embracing one's flaws and quirks and all that kind of stuff. Well, I haven't really used the selfie cam in a while. And I think there are some advantages other than just like that traditional mirror work. So for me, a lot of my videos I make for myself. I'm looking at myself. It's that self-love, self-confidence, but also sometimes it's like programming and messages. A lot of the songs that I'm guided to dance to, especially the ones with words, often will have messages for me in them, messages to boost my confidence in myself and things like that. But also there's something very personal and empowering about looking in one's own eyes. Now, the trick with the selfie cam is often I have to choose, am I going to look into the camera, which on my iPhone is my little green dot, so that when I watch the video, I'm looking into my own eyes. Or if a viewer is watching the video, they're staring into my eyes. And sometimes I often do that intentionally, regardless of which camera. I'll look at directly into the camera in order to make eye contact, sometimes as a means of confrontation. When I'm doing my assertive, dancing out stuff, working through, people pleasing and, I'm not going to take your shit anymore. Or just like, here I am here, this is my presence, and, like, I'm not afraid of you, or I'm going to stand my own, like queen of my kingdom, that kind of thing. Or sometimes it's just to establish that personal connection. And then sometimes I will look at myself on the screen, which for me right now feels more vulnerable. I think, and it's interesting because I think in the beginning I found looking in the camera and making eye contact, because I could feel it, even though, y'all are watching this after I make it, I know that relationship. I have a master's degree in art and design, visual communication. So, you know, like I know the power of the gaze and all the other stuff. But now I find looking into my eyes like this. So like right now I am looking at my eyes on the screen, on the selfie screen, is much more vulnerable, especially for me right now, tonight. You know, I just went through a miscarriage and a near-death experience. My body's really weak from a blood transfusion and surgery. Dancing makes me feel better, but I don't have a lot of stamina. You know, and I'm just trying to work through some of the sadness. You know, like I wanted to see myself smile tonight. And I may not have gotten myself to smile the way that I really wanted to get myself to smile, but I did smile some, and I feel better for having danced a bit and done some mirror work. And I feel that confidence coming back. And you know, I'll continue to do this. Honestly, my biggest frustration with the selfie cam, because I'm in a space where I've got good light right now, is just the fact that on the iPhone it doesn't automatically flip it, and there's no flip option on TikTok, at least that I've been able to find in the 3 years that I've used it. So you know, everything's backwards, but you know, whatever. It's a small thing. So, anyways, all of that to say that if you're someone, you know, whether you post stuff on TikTok or you just make stuff for yourself, because you can make videos on TikTok and just post them private so that no one sees them and download them for yourself. Like this kind of mirror work I have found to be really effective for building confidence, self-love, appreciation. You know, with my shiatsu and dancing and my spiritual stuff, I also just find it really fascinating to watch myself after the fact, because a lot of times I basically go into a trance. I don't really know what I'm doing, and so I enjoy watching what I did afterwards and having a record of it for myself, and then I can share with others. So go do your mirror work. It will definitely help you. And if you don't feel confident in front or comfortable enough to actually record something, just start by looking at yourself in the mirror. You know, pretend you're a teenager again. If you're like me, I sat on the counter in the bathroom and just stared in my eyes. You know, they say the eyes are the windows to the soul. You know, stare in them long enough and you might discover something new about yourself.